Hello. Topic for today is laws of chemical combination. Laws of chemical combination. First among these is law of conservation of mass. According to this law, during a physical or chemical change, mass is conserved, means remains unchanged. Further elaborate, total mass of reactants before the change is always equal to total mass of the products after the change. Total mass of substances taken called reactants is always equal to total mass of the substances formed which are called products. So technical language, mass is conserved during all physical and chemical changes. Say physical change, we take 100 grams of ice, put it in a bowl and allow it to melt or heat it to melt. When it has completely changed into water, the bowl containing water is weighed and it is again found to have 100 grams of water. That is, there is no change in the mass whether it was in solid state or it is in the liquid state. So just writing definition, mass is conserved. Mass is conserved during all physical and chemical changes. All physical and chemical changes. Example we have quoted for the physical change. Ice, it is solid, it is converted into water, which is liquid in physical state. If this is W grams, it must be W grams in the liquid state, that is when it is converted into water. Physical change, ice, which is solid substance, melted to form water, which has liquid state. If we had taken W gram of ice, it will give rise to W gram of water. There will be a small contraction in volume, which we will discuss in the chapter on chemical bonding, why it has undergone a certain or a little decrease, but for the time being we say W gram of ice gets converted into W grams of liquid water. So far as chemical change is concerned, a chemical reaction must take place, that is, some substances must be converted into new set of substances. The substances we take are called reactants. The substances we get when the reaction is complete are called products. And according to this law, total weight of reactants must be equal to total weight of products. That is, weight is conserved during chemical changes also. Chemical change, for example, we have barium chloride, dissolve it in water. Barium chloride, dissolve it in water. To it, we add some sulfuric acid, say it is dilute liquid state. Interaction takes place. Barium cations from barium chloride and sulfate anions from sulfuric acid combine to form barium sulfate. This is a white insoluble substance. It is soluble in water. It is miscible with water. It is insoluble, so we have mentioned it as solid state. Or we say it settles down like this. It settles down. Two hydrogen atoms, two chlorine atoms combine and give rise to two molecules of HCl, that is hydrogen chloride. If we had taken W grams of barium chloride and sulfuric acid taken together, the weight of barium sulfate and hydrogen chloride will also be W grams. There will be no change, not even an iota of change. This is the law of conservation of mass. Total weight of reactants must be equal to total weight of the products. In an important application of law of conservation mass is, it gives the idea of balancing of chemical equations. It gives the idea of balancing of chemical equation, means number of atoms of elements on reactant side must be equal to number of atoms on the product side. For example, we have this equation, this very equation. I write again, barium chloride plus sulfuric acid gave rise to, I said, barium cations and sulfate anions combine to form barium sulfate. Then, what are the other ions present? Chloride here and hydrogen here. Their combination gives rise to HCl. If we give a stress on the nature of reactants and products only, we shall write barium chloride and sulfuric acid combine to give rise to barium sulfate and hydrogen chloride. Barium sulfate and hydrogen chloride, we have left it unbalanced. This is against the law of conservation of mass. How? Let us write molecular weight here. 137 barium plus 35.5 into 2. 137 plus 71, it is 208 AMU of barium chloride. Sulfuric acid, 1 into 2 plus sulfur is 32 plus oxygen 16 into 4, it is 2 plus 32 plus 64, it is 98 AMU. It is 98 AMU. What is the total mass? Let's have the sum of these two, and it should come out to be 306 AMU. Product side, it is barium 137, sulfur 32, oxygen 16 into 4, and it is 233 AMU. This is 1 plus 35.5, 36.5 AMU. And what is this sum equal to? 0.5. It is 269.5 AMU. It means 306 AMU of reactants have given rise to 269.5 AMU of the products. These weights are different. Total mass of reactants 306, total mass of product 269.5. These are unequal because we have not transferred total hydrogen and total chlorine atoms to the other side. there were two hydrogen, there is one. There were two chlorine atoms, it is one. If we multiply this by 2 HCl, this will become 73 AMU, and this total will become, it will become 306 AMU. Now both sides are equal. 306 atomic mass units of reactants, 306 atomic mass units of products. It illustrates the law of conservation of mass. This is because now it is a balanced chemical equation. Both sides have one barium atom, one sulfur atom, 4 oxygen atoms, 2 hydrogen and 2 chlorine on this side, 2 hydrogen and 2 chlorine on this side. So law of conservation of mass gives an idea of the balanced chemical equations. We shall make it more clear when we attempt a numerical problem. When we attempt a numerical problem. Question is 1.5 gram of a hydrocarbon, a compound which contains atoms of hydrogen and carbon. For example, alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. On combustion in air or oxygen, on combustion in air, produced 0.44 grams of carbon dioxide and 4.4 grams carbon dioxide and 2.7 grams of water. And 2.7 grams of water show that it illustrates the law of conservation of mass. The hydrocarbon has carbon and hydrogen. Weight of carbon plus hydrogen in the hydrocarbon is 1.5 grams. Weight of hydrogen plus carbon or carbon plus hydrogen in the hydrocarbon is 1.5 grams. Let us write weight of carbon plus weight of hydrogen is equal to 1.5 grams. When burnt in air or oxygen, this carbon was converted into carbon dioxide. It was found to weigh 4.4 grams. Hydrogen was converted into water and it was found to weigh 2.7 grams. From carbon dioxide, we shall find the weight of carbon. From water, we shall find the weight of hydrogen. Add these weights. Due to the validity of law of conservation of mass, that sum must be equal to 1.5 gram. Let us make an attempt. Carbon dioxide on this side and water on this side. Carbon dioxide contains one carbon atom. It has one carbon atom. Molecular weight is 44 mole, 44 grams. Will have 1 mole or 12 grams of carbon. But weight of carbon dioxide is 4.4. So 4.4 grams of carbon dioxide will have 12 into 4.4 over 44. It is 1.2 grams. This weight of carbon dioxide, which has come from carbon present in the hydrocarbon, has 1.2 grams of carbon in it. Water, let us analyze hydrogen. One molecule of water has two atoms of hydrogen. It does not have hydrogen molecules. It has hydrogen atoms. It will not be right to mention here H2. No, 2H. 1 mole, 18 grams of water will have 2 moles, 2 grams of hydrogen. Its actual weight is 2.7 grams. Unitary method, it will have 2.7 over 18, 0.3 grams. We can well observe weight of carbon plus weight of hydrogen after the chemical change remains 1.5 grams. It illustrates the law of conservation of mass. Weight of carbon plus weight of hydrogen 1.2 plus 0.3, 1.5 grams. It is the same as the weight of hydrocarbon. मतलब it illustrates the law of conservation of mass. Conservation of mass. So this was the discussion on law of conservation of mass. Its meaning, two types of changes: physical change, chemical change, and followed by this numerical problem. It should make you the topic look easy. Coming to the second law of chemical combination, law of definite proportions or law of constant compositions. Law of definite proportions. It says irrespective of the source of a compound, irrespective of the source of a compound, maybe we get it from a source A, source B, source C, source D, it will always have same elements combined in same or fixed ratio by mass, irrespective of its source. I repeat, a chemical compound always contains same elements combined in same fixed ratio by mass, whatsoever be its source. A chemical compound always has same elements combined in same fixed ratio by mass. Same fixed ratio by mass. Let's illustrate. We have two very common compounds, well-known compounds. Maybe we have example of carbon dioxide. It is present in air. Number one. When we burn carbon in air, it produces carbon dioxide. We have attempted a question. When we burn a hydrocarbon, we attempted a numerical in law of conservation of mass. We get carbon dioxide. Very simple. Respiration. We exhale carbon dioxide. We have calcium carbonate. When we heat, it gives rise to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. From sodium bicarbonate, we treat it with dilute HCl. We treat it with dilute HCl and it produces carbon dioxide. This law says maybe any source out of these five sources. Carbon dioxide is composed of carbon and oxygen, always carbon and oxygen, and in the ratio 12 is to 32, simplified 3 is to 8 by weight. 12 grams of carbon would have combined with 16 into 2, 32 grams of oxygen. The ratio is 12 is to 32, 3 is to 8 in all cases. From any source, carbon oxygen ratio by weight of carbon 12, oxygen 16 into 2, 32, or it is 3 is to 8. Any sample of carbon dioxide will have carbon and oxygen atoms which have combined in the ratio 3 is to 8 by mass. It is one of the examples. We have an equally common compound, that is water. We may have rainwater raining on us, rainwater, water obtained by hydrogen through burning of hydrogen. Hydrogen gas burns in air with a blue flame, with a pop sound, and produces water. We may obtain water by melting of not ice, snow, a natural source, and so on. Water from a spring, water from a well, whatsoever source. Each sample of water has hydrogen and oxygen atoms combining. What is the ratio by weight? 1 into 2. 2 parts by weight of hydrogen, 16 parts by weight of oxygen. The ratio will be 2 is to 16 or 1 is to 8. Maybe this water, maybe this water, maybe this water, maybe any form of water. The ratio between weights of hydrogen and oxygen, 1 into 2, 2, 16, it is 1 is to 8. This is the law of constant compositions or law of definite proportions. We have common salt, sodium chloride, two sources. We may obtain it from seawater. We may obtain it from mines which are now in Pakistan. Both samples of common salt or sodium chloride, also called table salt, because we keep it on dining table also. Rock salt, there are rocks of this common salt, all are its names. Each sample of common salt, rock salt, table salt will have atoms of sodium and chlorine combined in the ratio 23 is to 35.5, or it is approximately 2 is to 3. We shall attempt a question on common salt, but approximately this ratio will be 23 is to 35.5 or 2 is to 3 ratio. After this discussion, we shall attempt a numerical. It is related to or concerned with a substance, copper oxide. A substance, copper oxide. In one experiment, we prepare copper oxide from copper, different steps. In the other method, we reduce this copper oxide to copper. In both cases, in first case, copper to copper oxide, we take a known weight of copper, and when it has been converted into copper oxide, determine the weight of copper oxide. From this information, we can find the values of copper and oxygen atoms in it. In second, copper oxide will be reduced to copper by some method, reduction process using hydrogen. Weight of copper oxide is taken. The weight of copper which is left after reduction is noted. From this weight, we will subtract the weight of copper to find the weight of oxygen. In both samples, ratio between weights of copper and oxygen will be same. This is the law of definite proportions. So, we have copper oxide was heated in an atmosphere of hydrogen till it left copper. The weight of copper oxide was 1.375 grams and copper left was 1.098 grams. In the second, copper was treated with nitric acid to form copper nitrate. Copper nitrate, it is a green colored substance. It was heated till it left copper, and in this case it was 1.178 grams and copper oxide. 1.178 grams of copper was taken and it gave rise to 1.476 grams of copper oxide. This weight of copper oxide heated in an atmosphere of hydrogen was reduced to copper. This weight of copper oxide left this mass of copper. In the second, this weight of copper was taken. After a series of reactions, it got converted into copper oxide and weight of copper oxide was 1.476 grams. Weight of oxygen, weight of copper oxide minus weight of copper, it is 1.375 minus 1.098 and it was 0.277 grams. Here, weight of oxygen, weight of copper oxide minus weight of copper, 1.476 minus 1.178 and it comes out to be 0.297 grams. In both observations or experiments, ratio between weights of copper and oxygen should be the same. Weight of copper over weight of oxygen, 1.098 over 0.277, it is approximately 4. Maybe it is equal to approximately 4. Here, weight of copper over weight of oxygen, 1.178 over 0.297. This is again 4. So ratio between weights of copper and oxygen 4:1, approximately 0.397, I think. And in that case also the ratio between weights of copper and oxygen is approximately 4 or 0.397. Both ratios are same. in a sample of copper oxide, in any of these two reactions or processes, the ratio between weights of copper and oxygen is 4 is to 1, 4 is to 1. If there was a third experiment, it would remain 4 is to 1. So this is the law of definite proportions. We shall continue this topic in the next lecture, law of multiple proportions, law of reciprocal proportions, and Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes.